Hi, my name is Jack Krishnamurthy. I'm the CTO at Object Edge, a San Francisco Bay Area based digital consultancy helping manufacturing enterprises with digital transformation, workflow automation, and AI adoption. We focus on business outcomes for our customers than just the technology implementations. We are also partners with Palantir, and we have been helping customers adopt Palantir with pilots to showcase the value that Palantir platform can deliver to our manufacturing customers. Hi, what I'm going to be showing you today is another internal use case that we use Palantir for on all our projects that we works across clients. So we have this onboarding of projects and clients that happens here, and this can also happen with an integration with our other systems like HubSpot and NetSuite OpenAir, where we track all this information. But once the project is created, you will have all these projects available here. That's a starting point. So we can see as an example, here are some projects, and we have created like a sample test client over here called Acme. And for that particular client, we do have a project called the Customer Portal Modernization Project. So this client has given us some documents, and then the project is ongoing. What I'm going to show you is how a risk assessment on this project is made using the Palantir workflow. So let's go to how the documents come into. So we have a Google Drive where we have all the communications and all the documents of the project is kept. So in this case, you can see that there are two files. There is an email thread and the kickoff transcript. And prior to this, there was also some documents where we had a statement of work, the RFP response, the technical spec that were captured. So all this is connected to our Palantir environment, and they are all button into Palantir. This is what you're seeing here is in Palantir. And you can see that some of the documents that I mentioned is here. So here, this is the kickoff meeting transcript. So it's post signing of the SOW, so that means that is a kickoff, some transcript here. And you can see some other document with respect to the RFP, the response that we had responded to the client on various team structures and all that stuff. So this is all test data that we generated for this demo. And here's one more thing that I will show, the email thread. So the idea of showing this is in a project, things happen at different periods and in a different life cycle. And all of this stuff happens through multiple means for us. Some of them is through like chat channels, some of them email threads, some of them through Google Drive documents, and some of them are meeting transcripts. So all of them come into, all of them are synced into Google Drive, and they come into Palantir through this. And once it comes into Palantir, we populate the ontology using a pipeline builder, and you will see the ontology once it comes up here. So in the ontology, it's a simpler structure. The customer having projects, and there are certain users having specific access. And then the AI content is the communication, other document content, and all that stuff. On the ontology itself, we have a risk as an entity, and that we update, and there are some actions on these entities that we work. Risks are shown, and then we'll dive into the actual pipeline build itself. So let's take a look at the risks. So I have already preloaded this for the demo purposes because it automatically syncs our drive, like I mentioned before. And we picked a project. There could be many projects. I picked this project, and you can see this simple graph that tells you like how many high risks and medium risks are. And depending upon, this is for a project manager would come in and look at like this is a particular risk. And what is this risk about? This is data residency compliance, because the Acme US, it's for the US government clients, data cannot go out of US government. So that means we need to add this language to our project itself. So things like that. And then here is another one: Zendesk and Salesforce configuration changes are exclusively excluded. So make sure that like we have handled that. A project manager will go through this and then say, okay, this is solved or not. It seems like all of this are solved in this case, but we can have a risk that is unsolved, and then they can mark it solved. Another thing that can happen with this is that you can get more details on the risk itself. And we have a notebook LMS approach here, that you can see that this particular risk, where did it come from? So we highlight that the highlighted text tells you where this information risk came from, so that like there is a traceability on how we uncover risks. And that's what, it's a simpler workflow. You identify risks, you mark them as solved, or you mark them as rejected, and this gets auto populated. And every now and then the project manager would come in and use this for generating either their reports or marking them as solved, so that in the end the goal is to be able to make sure that we have mitigated all the risks. Now that this simple workflow is clear, let's go to how this looks with respect to the pipeline itself. So there are many ways to do this. We have decided to do this as we ingest the data itself. So this is the AI content export, which comes from the Google Drive that I was talking about. And we load all this content data, and we extract any date related metrics there, extract the risks. And then you can see that some of them use this, like use LLMs directly here to be able to extract risk with the regular prompting and all that stuff. And then after that, like, it ranks the risks, and it classifies the risk by probability, by severity, and it provides you the risk data set. And the workshop on which you saw the risks is basically risk that comes out of this. So we can take a look at one of this extracting risk mechanism. And here we go. Let's say you want to understand what decisions were taken in this meeting. So go to it more. You can see that like it uses the content here as it's a prompting technique here, and then it populates the ontology object itself. And then like once that is there, it gets passed on and editing. The goal is to be able to see how we can do this in pipeline itself. You could load all this data and then post process later, but we are trying to do this as we get in the data in a scheduled manner. That's how our team manages risks on projects. And this is one other tool in the entire SDLC that we are trying to automate, from all the way from sales mode all the way to execution. So in future videos, I'll show you how other pieces of the puzzle fit in, and it's a dashboard for our teams, so that they can come in and look at how to manage this project.